the people that he's going to be throwing to there, it is Amari Cooper. And then does anybody have a firm grasp of a real second option as a pass catcher in that offense?
So someone tweeted today, and it was like, how is Elijah Moore ranked so low? Listen, there's no one that loves Elijah Moore more than I do coming out of school. And like, I still have hope that he'll become something. It hurts me. He went to the Browns, but I'll still root for him. But it was at practice with zero defense, and the pass was about 5 feet away. Like, and they're like, look at this duo. It's like, this proves absolutely nothing. Like, this is silly.
Hey,
but,
to be fair, it was like a slow-mo pass.
Yeah.
Like it was edited pretty nicely.
I do think Elijah Moore can have a Will Fuller type season though with Watson. He is a very speedy guy. I do think like he's a perfect wide receiver to play with Deshaun Watson. If Watson gets back to what he was with the Texans, I do think Elijah Moore has a pretty solid year, and he's going to be drafted very late. Cedric Tillman's an exciting rookie as well, but if I needed to take one of these guys late in the draft, it would be Elijah Moore. And I am very biased because I loved him so much coming out of school. So take whatever I'm saying with a grain of salt.
I like question though, like, do we really think that, like, just from a historical standpoint and what we've seen out of Kevin Stefanski's offense, like, is there really enough passing volume, do we think, to really designate like any true number 2 option that's going to be worth it? Like, looking at what we've seen out of Kevin Stefanski as a head coach or at head coach / offensive coordinator, passing offense ranks in his 4 seasons 30th, 28th, 28th, 22nd. That is where, 30th, 28th, 28th, 21st. That is where he ranked in terms of pass attempts for his offenses. And like, do we really think that changes this year? Like the running back core, not a lot of depth there, but I also don't think they've done enough with the receiving game to sort of put a lot of stock in that. But I guess,
and I do think a big issue is that he is playing in Cleveland, and Cleveland gets cold very, very fast. Yeah, like you got the month of September, maybe that, and it's going to get cold and very windy and miserable, extremely bad. Like the wind in downtown Cleveland, which is where the stadium is,
brutal.
It's something that you've never experienced anywhere else. I've lived in Pittsburgh. I've lived in Syracuse, New York. Like I lived those places. I've also lived in Cleveland, and walking those streets with that wind, it is brutal off that lake. And we saw Deshaun Watson great in Houston, which, by the way, it's a dome most of the time, because even when it was beautiful nights, they don't even open that thing. So that could be an issue. And I do think that's why they like to run more. And looking at Kevin Stefanski, it is a little worrisome in 2019 with the Vikings as OC. He was 30th in pass attempts per game, when we see now Kirk Cousins pass so much lately with a new OC. So yeah, maybe things won't change in Cleveland, and they're just going to stay the gross Browns, and Watson won't get better.
Yeah, I know for me, I mean, it's going to be Amari Cooper, and that's it. As far as the receiving options on that team, I have zero interest. I don't care how late they go. Maybe Elijah Moore.
I did want to go back to the wide receiver conversation real quick, because Dustin, I feel like you're just like giving Amari Cooper this pass for being so bad with Watson last year. Are you not worried about that? Like, I think I'd rather, if I'm going to take one of these guys, I'd rather take Elijah Moore in like the last round of my redrafts and take
Tillman
or Cedric, like either one, overtaking Amari Cooper where he's going to be going, because his numbers drastically fell with Deshaun Watson. Like, it was pretty good with Jacoby Brissett, right, but I mean, he was only averaging 11.6 PPR points per game with Watson. And I mean, it was mostly due to his reception percentage went so far down. They were just not clicking. He did average a lot of yards per reception with Watson, but like,
I mean,
again, are we just going to ignore that?
Finished higher, end of the year fantasy finish was higher than I expected it to be or thought it would be. When I saw the end of the season numbers, I was like, oh, Amari Cooper actually had a decent season.